everyone, and welcome to Class Act with Ilse Klink, where I help you take the hustle out of getting started as an actor. This week we're going to be chatting about what to expect on a film or television set. So basically it's kind of the same, unless you're shooting a telenovela or a soap opera. Mostly that takes place in studio. But the rest of the time you're going to be on every location imaginable for your film or your TV series. Of course, there's so much that happens on a film and television set that I'm going to do this as part one of a few series over the next 3 weeks. At the end of my video, I always have a special guest, and my special guest this week is Carla Classen, who in 2018 performed with me in a movie called Stroom Op, and then last year she was in Villa se Kind. She's also done a whole range of theatre productions that were quite excellent, I must say. So she's going to be telling us about the 2 things she wished she had known when she started out in the industry. When you have finally gone through the auditions and you get a spot on a TV series or on a film, it's a wonderful place to be. It's also a very intimidating place to be. Every department is present. So there's a whole lot of people on the film set, which is the first thing you'll see. However, if you know what to do, you'll be fine. If you've learned your words and you've developed your character and you know exactly what you're doing, you will be fine. So you arrive on set. The first thing you do, you've got to make contact with a production assistant. Now, the production assistant is normally the person that is running around all over the place. They're here, they're there, they're everywhere. This is the person that you want to keep close contact with. They're the ones that are going to come and fetch you from wherever it is that you, from the green room or from the place, where your holding place, right? They're going to come and fetch you and they're going to take you to set. They're going to find out if you're okay. Maybe sometimes you need something. They'll always say, if there's anything you need, just let me know. They also have a timesheet that you have to sign once you've walked onto the set. So if you arrived at 6:45, you've got it right there. 6:45, your name will be there and you've got to sign. Now this timesheet is very important in case you run overtime. Because if you go into overtime, which is more than 12 hours, they start taking overtime from about 15 minutes after the 12 hours that you've been on set. And then they have to give you a half call rate. And if you go an hour over, they give you a full call rate, right? So the timesheet, very, very important. It's your friend. Don't feel like it's because you have to clock in. You know, I used to get very irritated when I started out in the industry. I was like, what is this, you know? And then they're chasing you. The PA is chasing you to get you signed in. Also so that everybody knows that you are there. You're on set, you're accounted for, and they can start shooting. He's going to hand you sides and your call sheet. Now the call sheet is what's going to happen for the day. It's a piece of paper with different scene numbers on and different times on. In other words, you will have a specific time for wardrobe set aside for you on the call sheet, and you'll have a time for your makeup. Now what you must remember is when you are on call, you have been paid to be there the entire day, which is 12 hours. An entire shoot day lasts for 12 hours. So let's say there's a technical issue or one of the actors didn't arrive for work for whatever reason, whether they're sick, whether they didn't make it to work, whether they missed the plane, whatever it is, they are not there. You have been contracted to be at work for 12 hours, so they may pull in a scene from 2 days from now. So they pull in a scene with yourself and some other actor that is there to make up the time for the day so that they don't lose time. And you must remember, with film and television, time is money. So if you get sick and you're not on set, that's a major issue. I've been on sets where there was a wedding happening, or there was the police were there, the actual police, because we were doing a hectic scene, major stunts, and an actor doesn't pitch. You know, I mean, that costs the production company thousands upon thousands of rands. And you don't want to be the actor that is responsible for a scene not being shot because you were not there. You know, obviously, if you're in a car accident, which is also, I've seen so many things on set, it's just actually unbelievable. But anyway, I mean, things happen, life happens, and but as far as you can, be there, be on set, and also be on time. I think that is like the most important thing to do, is to be on time for work. The PA will also hand you something called sides, which are the scenes for the entire day with all of the dialogue. So if you didn't bring your scenes with you to work, there's always the sides that you can work from. Hopefully you've done what you're supposed to do, which is all your homework. You don't get a lot of time to play on set, really, and try new things, or try different things. You don't always get that time. But if you do, that's fantastic. If your director knows what they're doing, generally they do, they can point you in the right direction, and you will have a blast of a day, which is always great. After your PA has spoken to you, now if you looked on your call sheet, you'll see after breakfast what time you need to be in wardrobe. Go to wardrobe and get dressed. Because if there's any kind of wardrobe malfunction, or your costume didn't arrive, or anything can happen. Anything can happen on a set. Believe me, anything can happen. So that you also know that you are ready and settled and ready to shoot. Everybody knows what they're doing. You're in the right costume, because you would have kept some kind of continuity of the costumes that you were wearing on, let's say, day 13. Each costume is on a particular day. And you won't shoot in order. You'll shoot day 11, then day 13. 2 scenes from now, you'll shoot day 25. So it's not shot in order. So you as an actor need to have continuity about what you are wearing, what your makeup looked like, and what your hair looked like. Obviously, wardrobe has those records as well. The next place you're going to go to is hair and makeup, which is always a very, very social place. There's lots of chatter. You can also go through your lines while you're having your makeup done. Obviously listen to what the makeup artist has to say. You can't be looking down like this when she's busy with your lips, Please work with your makeup person so that you can look good. And also, don't cheese your makeup person off, because they can make you look terrible. They really can. But they won't, because they're professional. But don't cheese them off. You never know what people will do to you. Apologies to everybody in makeup who never do that. Just be nice to everybody, because you're all part of a major team that are working together for the good of the production. One of the major irritations for a lot of artists, and you would have heard this expression 1,010 times, hurry up and wait. I suggest that you should, as an actor, have a hobby. You really should have some sort of hobby, and that doesn't mean like sitting on your phone, getting distracted. You need to maintain focus. I think a lot of actors struggle with that. Trying to remain focused. If you've been ready since 8 o'clock that morning and your first scene is only at 10 o'clock. So you have to have maintained some sort of focus, because when they say, okay, Ilse, they're ready for you, you've got to be ready to rock and roll your scene. Don't ever book a second job on the day that you are shooting on set. If anything happens on set, you're not going to make it to the other thing. Believe me, don't book anything else. Keep that day aside just for the shoot. That's what I have for you this week. Thank you so much for watching. And now let's hear what Carla Classen has to say about the 2 things she wished she had known when she started out as an actor.
Number 1 thing that I wish someone had told me about acting and about doing this thing professionally is the kind of mental fortitude, and I don't want to call it fortitude because I don't want to imply strength here, but the kind of continuous well-being, or mindfulness that you need to practice if you want to be an actor. And that's largely because you're entering an industry that isn't, there isn't a clear path that one needs to follow. You often feel, there's this feeling of rejection that I don't like to view in a particular kind of way. But maybe to draw from my own story. So I studied drama at the University of Pretoria, and then especially my final year, I did my honors. It was like very practical, very hands-on. I was directing, I was performing, and so I was in this continuous creative environment in which, like, literally I could just pop stuff out. It was suddenly like a rug being pulled out from under me, and all the kind of creativity that I was continually being enrolled in, and the kind of support structures it felt like it had just vanished. I think I was at that point completely disillusioned. I was like, okay, this industry, like, things aren't just gonna happen for me. And this dream I had that, like, by 25 I was gonna be here, like, that wasn't gonna happen. So there was some mourning, but I think I realized that this industry was a bigger thing than me, and I didn't understand it. And I went into like a really big slump, I really went down the rabbit hole. And it really affected my mental well-being, my self-worth, all of those things. So you've got to learn how to find ways to be okay, to cope with it, to cope with the way the industry is. The easiest way to do that is to educate yourself about it and to just get comfortable with kind of the way things go. So, I was like, I'd studied for 4 years, and then I went to auditions, and I'd walk into rooms and like be like and leave, and I was like, is this it? Like, I come out here and I gooi and I bounce, and that's it, and that's all I see. And I was really, I don't think I was great at auditioning. I was so nervous. I was, I think, in my opinion, not great at that point. And I had this idea of rejection, that I was continually being rejected by people, and all of that just, so eventually I just like stopped going to auditions for a while. If you're not okay, you're gonna reach milestones in your career, and you're gonna have really great things happen to you and really wonderful doors open for you, and you're gonna feel like nothing's happening because you're not gonna be able to be present to the wonderful epiphanies, joys, moments of awe, of like, when you're performing and it's like, like, the sky's open. You're gonna miss all that great stuff. It's sometimes the most talented people step away from the industry, and it's not because anything's wrong with them, that they have any kind of weakness. It's just, this isn't for everyone, and that's also okay. Like, that's also okay. But give yourself the shot, and in order to do that, you really got to look after yourself. My second point, which ties into my first point, is find your self-worth outside of acting. When your self-worth is reliant on whether you have a job and whether someone's paying you to act, and that whether it's you performing, you're gonna have a problem, because the industry, especially when you're starting out, isn't gonna gooi you in jobs like this. Have a rich, wonderful, full life filled with incredible people who support you and love you. It all relates to mental well-being, and I think many people in the world struggle with that. And I think as creatives, we have our own angle at which things come at us, and we've just got to really look out for ourselves and look out for each other, and we're not in this alone.
Thank you so much to Carla Classen for sharing your knowledge and insights with us. I'm sure everyone found that quite helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, put them in the comment box below. That's what I have for you, kids. Take care, look after yourselves.